You're listening to Garden Master Ken Lain and the Top 10 Gardener Podcast. Welcome to the Top 10 Garden Show.
And we are back in the studio. We've got Lisa Waters Lane. What is going on there? It's giggles are all over.
I just saw myself on the camera. And
oh, don't look.
Isn't that pretty?
We've got faces for radio. That's what they say. Nah.
Thank you.
If you've been out working in the yard, we're at the garden center. We've got a studio here, and so we've been working it. You jump on a semi all day, and then you jump on here to be fresh and entertaining, exciting. It can wear on you a little bit.
Did I ever tell you about so we have this really nice customer, wonderful man comes in, and usually people get used to seeing me at the garden center and they don't see me other places. And he happened to see me at an event we were at. And I said hi, and I could see him trying to place me.
I'm processing.
And he goes, you look so much nicer when you're away.
That's awesome.
And then he's like,
we dress up nice.
So yes, it's two different looks.
It's a small town, and so you tend to see people at restaurants or churches or kids' soccer games or a band, or you just see them around the community because it's a small town, and it's hard to go. Okay, where did I see them? You're trying to see them everywhere, so that's good. That's fun.
So anyways, I digress. Silly story, but this is our question and answer segment, right?
What kind of questions and answers do we have?
Well, let's get started. So Patty says she has a beautiful Pampas grass that seems to never really put out a whole lot of plumes. The grass part is pretty, but not a lot of plumes. So her question is, how can she fix that?
Yeah, that's pretty easy, Patty. So Pampas grass, they've grown at least 6 feet or more up and wide, maybe even wider. So they put on tremendous foliage growth. And so it takes a lot of energy to pull that off. It's not like they're just growing. You got to fertilize a lot and fertilize often. Here's the insider tip. So Pampas grass needs to be fertilized at least 3 times in a year. So Patty, you're going to fertilize at Easter in the spring, at 4th of July, probably really important for Pampas grass because they're feeding off that rain and all that new growth. They just go into supercharged mode. So feed them at Independence Day, and then fall. Feed them at that Halloween stage. So Easter, Independence Day, Halloween. Feed them then. But in addition, for you, because you've had you're struggling, you're going to fertilize with all-purpose plant food, 744. It's going to take in that cottonseed meal and bird guano and just go, I am so hungry. Give me more. See more. And so, but in addition to that, give it a handful of super phosphate, 0.18.0. That middle number, that's what causes plumes, especially on grass, flowers, or fruits. Sprinkle some of that at the same time. Every time you fertilize with the all-purpose plant food, give it a handful of superphosphate, and you will have some of the nicest, biggest, the whole plant is going to be covered in these beautiful, fluffy plumes. For you, those of you that don't know what Pampas grass is, it's a tall grass, at least head high, and it puts on these gigantic white plumes over the top of the plant. If you don't do what I just described, you'll get thin, wispy plumes, if any. It'll just stop blooming if you don't fertilize enough. And so that's kind of the secret, the insider tip on that. So just fertilize more often. Easter, Independence Day, and Halloween. At the same time, give it all-purpose food and superphosphate, and you will have. And Patty, you still have time. I would say come in and get a bag of all-purpose and superphosphate now, because they're starting to plume. You're starting to see that flower hover above the fall. There's still time. Then it will keep those flowers on there until sometime in January when the snow kind of really beats them up and start laying down. Then you kind of cut them back to the ground or close to it, and you start all over again.
All right. Watering helps too, more good, consistent watering. A lot of people think they're just and they are drought hardy, but when you want those pretty plumes, you need to increase your water.
Mostly I see folks, they're just, you'll drive down a neighborhood, go, oh, they fertilized. Oops. Ooh, they didn't. Oh, they got it. Oh, they've got the flowers, but they're real thin. They're anemic. They should be fluffy, as big as your head. or bigger.
or bigger. All right. Next question is from Paul. He says he shut down his irrigation because it seemed like they were getting so much rain.
Yeah.
He goes, he's thinking about getting ready to turn it back on because we've
Yeah.
dried up some. His question is, do you keep the same watering schedule that you did earlier in the
Gotcha.
summer?
Good question, Paul. So turn it back on because rain is very inconsistent right now. We'll see some more rain, but it won't be that 3 inches of 3 inches we had last month, month before. So it's going to need watering. Yes, you do water the same amount. You never play with how long the irrigation runs. It always runs the same length of time. That just take that variable out of your brain, out of your thinking. What you're playing with is the frequency. How many days can I go before I have to kind of redo it again? So trees and shrubs, you're probably watering right now through October, probably once a week. Good deep soak. Once they drop their leaves for autumn, then you kind of throttle it back to a couple times a month. So, but right now you're probably once a week is good. Then you go to every other week once they lose their leaves. For flowers and things, it's probably more often. So there you can tweak it. We've got a handout here at the Garden Center. Ask for it. It just tells you exactly how to water lawns, vegetables, flowers, trees, shrubs, roses. Kind of breaks it all down for you.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps a bit. Paul, yes. Turn on your irrigation.
Yes, you do need to water.
You do need to water. You'll sacrifice your fall color if you don't do that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next question is from Jack. He has a maple tree that has very yellow leaves, very chlorotic. He's hit it with iron and he's hit it with our 744. Still pretty yellow. Wants to know, does he have enough time in the season left to turn it around, or is this kind of going to be it this year and work on it next year?
Hey, Jack, so maybe you got plenty of time. They're going to start turning the end of this month, really October. So you got a month to really turn it around. And what's happened is when those maples get real yellow, they start turning fall color too early before everyone else in the neighborhood. That's usually a pH thing. So your pH has crept up too high and it's locked up all the minerals. So the iron is there that you gave it, the 744, it's there, but the plant can't get to it because it's so alkaline. So it's like you sitting in a hot tub and the pH is way too high. And what happens when you get out? It's like your skin wants to itch off. You just want to take a shower. That's how your plant feels right now. So it gets busy trying to itch itself and not. That's a bad analogy. But anyway, pH went up too high.
Yeah, it was,
and you need to lower
it.
Soil sulfur is your friend or your plant's friends. Get a bag of soil sulfur. It's just what it is. It's sulfur. And sulfur hits the water, hits the rain, and it lowers the pH and makes things more acidic. You have to dramatically make that soil around that tree acidic. And so what it is, your water is very alkaline. And that's what's causing the issue. So as soon as you give it some sulfur, lower that pH, all that iron and food you had in there will start activating like now. And so it will bring out more color for this fall. Will it bring out 100%? I don't know. But we're just trying to get, this is gardening. It's a living, breathing thing. You're making a difference. You're trying, but you will see a difference. But if you keep, I would do that again. Every time you fertilize, add sulfur, and that will turn that thing around for next spring, at least, to really be thick and rich and green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of things are what colors are a little washed out this time of year. Even some of the pines, the deodar cedars, is just not showing that real dark green color right now. So it's definitely getting time to feed them again.
If you've got off color, fertilize. I mean, don't wait. Usually we say fertilize in October. Okay, we're 3 weeks away. Just do it now. Do it early so you can take advantage. So you can get that color out of those plants. You can take advantage of our most spectacular season. Autumn brings out all that rich aspen golds and the reds, the purples of ash. You want to bring that out. It takes a more acidic type of soil and some food to pull that off. And so if your plants are talking to you and saying, I don't feel so well, if you don't do something, I'm going to go to sleep right now, and I'm not going to show off any fall color for you until next spring. And so you just you're picking up on that. Take advantage of it and try to turn it around. So go ahead and fertilize it. But if you've got any kind of off color right now, fertilize with the all-purpose food and soil sulfur at the same time, that'll help you. That'll really bring out and kind of correct this thing.
Yep.
That's all we got time for this segment. Be right back. If new neighbors are encroaching on your privacy, we have just the solution.
At Waters, we have an entire section of thick, bold plants dedicated to privacy.
Fall is a time to plant a new privacy hedge, and we're here as advisors.
Take a quick measurement and snap a picture before you come visit, and you'll quickly be living in privacy once again.
Plus, our team of experts know how to plant to increase plant growth next spring. We'll show you how.
Waters Garden Center. We know privacy in your backyard.
You're listening to Ken Lain, aka the Top 10 Gardener. Ken can be found throughout the week in Prescott at Waters Family Garden Center. Listen daily as he answers the top 10 questions of the week, streaming on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts.